Okay, this is an attempt to demonstrate what it takes to care for these sinks. These are the two products I'm using. I'm going to scrub it with this. And this time I'm going to seal it with this Karen item. Okay, so I like to use the Scrub Daddy or Scrub Mommy stuff. If I try and remember to use gloves, they're it's a little rough on skin. Every other day. Seems to be sufficient every other day. So, because most of the really bad drips are from the top of the sink to the bottom of the sink, because things splash and run down, I avoid scrubbing that way. So I try and scrub sideways, and I do it in a different order each time, just for a little variety. But in this case, I'm just going to scrub this sideways. Get some nice pink stuff on there. The bottom. Get some good juicy cleaner down there. And then I'm going to do a nice circular motion over the all of the surfaces. Trying to get those water drips and food drips out of here. So then I pay special attention to the curve at the bottom. Give it a special swipe. And the curve in the corners. And that little corner, I'll try and give it an extra little scrub there. Okay. I'm going to catch the top. See, I bumped the camera. Is it still looking at the sink? Yeah, okay. So, this is a bit of a chore to do each day or every other day, but it seems to keep the sink in pretty good shape. Now, the one thing I can't prevent is when there gets to be dings or marks. Somebody, me or my husband, has dropped something into the sink and it's done a little tiny chip. And so I can't seem to do anything about those. And I'll show you some of those later after I've taken care of the finish. But it's a fairly delicate surface. This is composite material. Okay, now I'm going to do my scrubbing now that I got my soap all around. Takes about 10 minutes. Not bad. To just do this scrubbing. 5 to 10 minutes, depending on how much energy you have and what kind of a good job you do. How thorough. I'm catching my... Do that drain, and in my case, I chose the wrong drain. It was black, and when it was new, it looked beautiful. But now it's all, the paint's all scrubbed off, but it still works. And I just still clean it. Get that food off of it. You know, food splashes in the sink and you can't see it. And it ruins the surface of this material. So you have to scrub it thoroughly, whether you can see the food or marks or not. Okay, so then I rinse it. You'll see what it looks like with just the scrub before being finished. And I've tried a lot of cleaners in the last year and a lot of different kinds of surface sealers or waxes, and these 3 items have ended up for me to be the best. And so just wash all that soap down the drain. I'm very careful not to get the pink stuff with the scratchy part on the faucet and the hose and all that. As long as you're using the soft sponge top side, it's great. But unless there's some caked on food, I just try and use a damp cloth, because this surface is way more delicate than the sink itself. So I really sometimes I go through here and I catch every little corner on there, every little roundness to clean it up, because food splashes every place. Food is amazing. Now, because I don't want to get too close to the top, I'm going to wipe down the sink a bit. So that I'm getting all of this pink stuff off. And if you're not willing to put the work in, I wouldn't be buying this sink. I bought it because the original sink, which I can show you a picture of, was completely ruined. They had not scrubbed it or waxed it for who God knows how long. Don't know, don't care. So I replaced it with the same item after looking at many videos online to find out how to care for it. So of course there's such a variety of products that it took a while to narrow that down to the best products for me. You know, everybody's different, and so some products may or may not work for you. But maybe do your own experimenting. Okay. Now, all of the finishing products require that the sink be really dry. So, I'm going to dry this sink completely. Once again, I try and do that sideways motion all the time because I'm fighting that downward drip that gets embedded in this material. It can't really be totally removed, I've discovered. You can only clean it and wax it or oil it. The perfect sink is more of a wax, and this Karen item is more of an oil. And I tend to do the oil once a week and the perfect sink the other times. There we go. It's starting to dry up now. And the Karen really dislikes water while it's being applied. So I'm making sure everything is super, super dry so that the oil goes on and protects the sink the best it can. So here's an example of one of the divots. Here's another little divot. You can see the sink's kind of a hazy gray instead of a black, but it's clean. The Karen Luster Pro to Shine Quartz. It's a quartz, composite quartz sink, man-made. And I use one of these micro fiber cloths, but because this oil is so pervasive, I use it and then I throw it out. I do not put it in the washer, or everything in the washer is going to come out oily. So it's a great product. But once again, I use that side motion, catch the corners. Side motion, not up and down the way the drips go. I'm trying to erase the drips. A little side motion. Make sure I've got it completely covered, all the surfaces. Sometimes you'll do this, and then when you're done, you'll see you've missed a big swatch somehow. It's easy to miss a piece. You have to go back and fill it in. So side motion, erasing those drips. Also, this oil really shines up that faucet really nicely. And so I let it dry for 20 minutes. I set a timer so that nobody uses the sink, gets any water in there, until it's as dry as it's going to get. Never completely dries. It's an oil, this Karen. Karran. And then I go over it with a paper towel. Right at the end. Just to catch any excess. Put it in the faucet. careful if you're doing the faucet not to accidentally turn it on. I've done that. Really messes with the sink. And if you missed a spot, this is a great step to make sure you got it covered. Nice sideway motion. Trying to get rid of those drips. Trying to wipe those drip marks out. Okay, that's pretty good. So that's pretty much the final result. Let's see if we can. So my husband provided us with a beautiful example of how this Karen product responds to food and water.